A great day to one and all. I am Mr. Kim JC Ensho, and today I will be discussing with you licensure examination for teachers or LEP review for mathematics majors, Set D. So we will be discussing 50 items for this one, and I hope that your pens and papers are ready. Please feel free to solve the problems, pause the video from time to time, and check if you got the correct answer. Ready? Let's go. For the directions, write the letter of the correct answer before the number. If the correct answer is not found among the choices, write E. Let's have number 1. Which of the following expressions is equivalent to 2/3 of x squared minus x minus 3 added by 1/3 of the quantity x squared plus 2x plus 6? Did you go for A, x squared, B, x squared minus x, C, x squared plus x, or D, x squared minus 1? So for this one, it's better if we multiply first or simplify this. We will distribute the 2/3 to x squared minus x minus 3. And with that, 2/3 times x squared, you have 2/3 x squared. 2/3 times negative x is negative 2/3 x. 2/3 times negative 3 will give you negative 2. Then, this 1/3 will also be distributed to each of these three terms. 1/3 times x squared is 1/3 x squared. 1/3 times 2x is plus 2/3 x. And lastly, 1/3 times 6 is plus 2. We could see from here that negative 2/3 x plus 2/3 x becomes 0, and that negative 2 and plus 2 becomes 0 as well. So we are left with 2/3 x squared plus 1/3 x squared. They are like terms, and so we will just add 2/3 plus 1/3, that's 3/3 or 1, or multiplied by x squared, so that gives you x squared. Letter A. Number 2. On the number line, if BC equals 2AB, what is the value of x? Take a look at this number line here. So C is at the right of B, and here are the coordinates of A and B respectively. Did you go for 0.81, 1.61, 1.17, or 1.19? So to do this, we know that BC is twice of AB. So this should be twice as long. And we know that BC so for this one, if you could see the distance of BC, to get the distance between them, you actually have to get the absolute value. And that is the absolute value of the difference of the coordinates. So that's why the distance BC is x minus negative 0.04, which is twice the distance of AB. And for AB, that's the absolute value of the difference of negative 0.4 and that of negative 1.25. So from this one, x minus 0.04 becomes x plus 0.04. And this double minus, this double negative will also become plus. That's why the rest were copied. You arrive to this expression. Next, the negative 0.4 and the plus 1.25 becomes 1.21, and I just got its absolute value, which is still positive 1.21. But multiplying this by 2, then we arrive to the absolute value of the quantity x plus 0.4 is equal to the product of this, which is 2.42. You have learned that if you have an absolute value equation, and this is a positive value here, then you could have two possible values. However, C here should be larger than B because C here is at the right of B. Hence, we will disregard the other option of having a negative value. So instead, we will equate this x plus 0.04 with 2.42. Subtracting both sides by 0.4, that gives you 2.02. And 2.02 is not one of the choices, so it should be letter E. I hope you got it. Number 3. What number is halfway between 4/7 and 3/4? Did you go for 7/11, 45/37, 35/56, or 37/56? So when we speak about the number halfway here, to get the number halfway of two numbers, all you have to do is add them, then divide the result by 2, or multiplying the result by or with 1/2. So I have here 1/4 the sum, 1/2 the sum of 4/7 and 3/4. You could verify on your own or using your calculators that the sum of 4/7 and 3/4 is 37/28. And multiplying that, 1/2 times 37/28, so numerator times numerator, 1 times 37 gives you 37, whereas 2 times 28 gives you 56. Letter D. Number 4. The sum of 4 consecutive odd integers is 296. What is the greatest of the 4 consecutive odd integers? Is it 71, 73, 75, or 77? We don't know what these 4 numbers are. So in my case, I represented the smallest odd number here as x. And remember that consecutive odd numbers differ by 2. So the next higher odd number is x plus 2. After that, you have x plus 4. And the fourth one is x plus 6. And that the sum of these 4 odd numbers is 296. And from here, you could see that we have here 4 x's, so their sum is 4x. 2 plus 4 plus 6 is 12. That's why I have 4x plus 12 equals 296. And after which, subtracting both sides by 12, you get 4x equals 284. Dividing both sides by 4, that gives you x, which is 71. But 71 here is the smallest. And the largest here should be x plus 6, right? Because this is, as you go along, this is in fact increasing. So x plus 6 is the largest of all the odd numbers. And since x is 71, then the greatest or the largest is 71 plus 6, or 77, letter D. Number 5. There are 142 students in a high school math club. These students represent 2/9 of the total students in high school. How many students attend the high school? Did you go for 587, 613, 639, or 665? So we don't know yet how many students there are. So let x be the number of students. And since it is mentioned that 2/9 of them is 142, That's why we arrive to this equation, 2/9 of x equals 142. To simply get the value of x, we will multiply both sides by 9/2, or the reciprocal of 2/9. And with such, 142 times 9/2 gives you 639. Hence, letter C is the answer here. I hope you got it. Next number. If xy minus 3 all over w equals z, what is the value of x? Did you go for wz plus 3 all over y, wz minus 3 all over y, wz minus y all over 3, or wz plus y all over 3? So we will be solving or deriving for x here. Let's see if you got it. So from here, to clear off fractions, we will multiply both sides with w. So that becomes xy minus 3 equals wz. Because if you multiply the left side by w, so the w and the w here would cancel. And w times z is wz. Next, we need to isolate the term containing x. So this negative 3 is not needed here. So we will add 3 both sides. That gives you xy equals wz plus 3. We need to isolate, we need to have y only. So, we need to have x only on one side. So we will divide both sides of the equation by y. And that gives us x equals wz plus 3 all over y, letter A. Number 7. When an object is dropped from a height of s feet above the ground, the height of the object is given by the equation h equals negative 16 t squared plus s, where t is the time in seconds after the object was dropped. If an object is dropped from a height of 144 feet above the ground, how many seconds will it take to hit the ground? Is it 2, 3, 4, or 5? From this one, since our height is 144, so we will replace this s with 144. That is why this becomes h equals negative 16 t squared plus 144. But since the stone will hit the ground at a certain time, and when it hits the ground, then its height from the ground is 0. That's why we will be replacing this h with 0, and you arrive to 0 equals negative 16 t squared plus 144. Adding both sides by 16 t squared, you have 16 t squared equals 144. Dividing both sides by 16, we have t squared equals 9. If you will use extracting square root, you will see that you will actually get t as plus minus 3 seconds. But for this case, there is no such thing as negative time, a negative measure of time, or a negative value of time here. That is why we will disregard negative 3 and we adapt t equals 3 seconds. Letter B. Number 8. Consider the set of points that were plotted as shown. Does it represent a function? Yes, no, maybe, or none of the above? What do you think? So, before we answer this question, it is important to note that a function is a special type of relation in which each element of the domain is paired with exactly one element of the range or in your y. So if you could see here, we have here points 1, 1, negative 2, 3. This is 1, 1, negative 2, 3, negative 2, negative 1, and 3, negative 4. You could actually see from here, especially for these 2 points here, that the element negative 2 in the domain is paired with both 3 and negative 1 in the range. And since there are two values that are mapped with exactly 1x, then it violates the definition of a function. Thus, this relation does not represent a function, so it is no, letter B. Number 9. In the function f of x equals x squared minus k is a constant if f of x, k is a constant. If f of 3 equals 2, what is the value of f of k? Did you go with 40, 41, 42, or 44? From this one, it's important first to solve for the value of k. But we have f of x equals x squared minus k, and f of 2 is 3, right? Or f of 3 is 2, rather. So if you substitute this x with 3, the result will be 2. So replacing this x, in fact, all x's was replaced by 3. So you have f of 3, which is 2, which is equal to 3 squared minus k. So we will be utilizing this, this equation here, this part here. And that simplifies to 2 equals 3 squared, or 9, minus k. Then I added k both sides, so this minus k became plus k on the left, and this 2 will become minus 2 on the right. That's why k equals 9 minus 2, and that gives you k equals 7. But we're not yet done. How come? Because we have to replace this k with its value, which is 7. So thus, f of x equals x squared minus 7. And the problem here is asking, how about for f of k? Since your k is 7, so all x's here will be replaced by 7. So f of 7 equals 7 squared minus 7. That's 49 minus 7, or 42. If you answered C, great job. Number 10. The point AB is located in quadrant 2, while CD is in quadrant 4. In which quadrant is the point BC located? Is it 1, 2, 3, or 4? Check carefully. Let's see if you got it. Now, for this one, it's important to know the signs of A, B, C, and D before we determine this, the answer. In fact, what we need is B and C. If AB is located in quadrant 2, it is known that the abscissa there is negative and that the ordinate is positive. Also, if CD is located in quadrant 4, it's understood that the abscissa is positive and the ordinate is negative. You could check it if you wish to. So that means B is positive and C is positive. And having both positive coordinates implies or tells us that the point is actually located in quadrant 1. Letter A. I hope you got it. And if you did, congratulations. But if not, do your best still for other items.